Hello everyone, today we're going to do a tutorial that was requested, which is Resident Evil style aiming, which is where an enemy's in your vision and you hold aim, your character will snap towards it. So the first thing we're going to do is actually create the enemy. So in the content browser I'm going to make a new folder, call it enemy, and I'm going to make a character for this so it can walk around. And we're just going to call this test enemy. So in here, we're gonna click the mesh and come down to skeletal mesh here and set one. I'm gonna use SQK mannequin. Gonna fix the rotation, so 90, and then put it down a bit. This doesn't really matter too much, but compile and save. I like to tag things, so I'm going to tag this as an enemy. Just so later on, if you want to like compare objects to make sure what you're targeting is an enemy, you can do it through this. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is in the player. So third person for me, blueprint. Oh, actually, before we forget, we're going to create a new input for aiming. So in the content drawer, we have this input. So come into here and you can put it into actions. Action is basically the thing that you want to call. So like you can see interact, jump, lock, move. So we're going to create a new one. And it's an input action. I'm going to call it IA for input action underscore aim. We don't need to do anything in here because it's already set as bool, which is true or false. The next thing we need to do is come into IMC default, click add mapping, find aim. You can click either search what you want here, or you can actually click this and then press the button. So for me, it's right mouse and save here. So now in the third person character, we're going to add a pawn sensing so that the player can actually see the actor can see other actors. If you come to the viewport, you can see what it looks like. This is like, if I close that, and then we want, you can see like the hearing threshold, which if I move, you'll see that's the blue one, but I'm not interested in that. For me, it's the sight. So I'm going to put this down to 4,000. And I want to only sense that off so it sees everything. And my vision angle for this, I'm going to use 35. So this is the viewing angle of the character. Like anything in this range, it will be able to detect. So in the event graph, we can click on pawn sensing and come down here to on C pawn. Click that. What we want to do now is we want to do a sequence. And the first C part is we're going to cast to the enemy. So we're going to do cast to enemy. So what I've done in my project is I've actually got a base enemy class that all enemies inherit, just so I can cast to that and then it will work. But for now, we're just going to cast to this. So hook up the object to the pawn. What you can do is on your test enemy, you could have a variable to say like, am I alive? And then you could do a branch and compare if the enemy is alive. But for this one, I'm just going to do a simple, we're going to add a new variable. And we're going to call that, I know what we're going to do is, let's delete this. Delete. We're going to right click this pawn here and promote to a variable. I'm going to call it sensed enemy. And then we're going to hook that up like this. And then that can actually hook into there. Then on the next pin, what we want to do is a retriggerable delay. And every 0.6 seconds, if we're not detecting the enemy, we're going to set the enemy to empty. And the reason it's 0.6 is because in pawn sensing, we have sensing interval of 0.5. So every half a second it checks to see if anything is in range. And what this does is, if nothing's in range for 0.6, it will clear sensed enemy. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to use our new input action we created. So we can come in and type IA underscore aim, which if you remember is right click for me. So we're going to do a branch and it's going to go into started. The condition is going to be the sensed enemy equal to nothing, like this. The false is going to go into is valid. And then the input object is going to be sensed enemy again. This is just like a double check to make sure that it doesn't fail. If it fails, it will crash. The is valid is going to go into a set control rotation. No, we need to get player controller. And then that is going to go into a set control rotation. Now to get the control rotation, what we're going to do is we're going to get the sensed enemy. We're going to get the actor location. We're going to get actor location for the player itself. We're going to do a find look at rotation, which compares the start and the target to find which way it needs to look. And then that is going to pop into new rotation. So now if we go here, what I'm going to do is just, oh well, we don't need that actually. You'll be able to see. So we're going to drag in the enemy, test enemy here. I'm going to press play. So if you look, maybe it's hard to see, but I just added an arrow just so we can see where the character is looking. To see how it turns, like it snaps towards the once it's in range. The issue with this character is because she stood on the side, it doesn't look as clear. What we can do is do print string here and hook that up, and then I can say copy paste. It doesn't want to copy and paste. There we go, we didn't want to copy paste. In here we're going to type lost enemy, just so we can see. So if you can see, we see the enemy. So when we right click, we target it. See? And then when we look away, we don't have the target anymore. So now it won't work. So you see, we target lost enemy. So this is a very basic way of doing it. You can like modify this to how you want. So you could have like 45 degrees or 90 degrees, like 70 degrees. I'll do 60 degrees. Now you'll see we're able to see the enemy. And if I right click, we target it. So then what you would do is, instead of it snapping, you can do like a smooth transform to like slowly turn the character towards it. But I hope this has helped. It's not a very long tutorial, and I've been away from doing it for a bit because of studying. But I hope this helps. If you have any questions or things, just leave a comment or a message. Right, thank you for watching. Goodbye.